Legends, we got a bit to go through in this one for our round 10 trades, and we'll go through all of my options heading into this week. I'm going to do a fair bit of looping tonight, so we'll discuss that to help you guys out with your sides. It's going to be fairly limited in terms of actually selecting your four-man bench, given there are a lot of outs, and that does help with actually selecting that bench, because a lot of time you can loop early, and then that helps you make your decision. So we'll go through that in a second. Let's firstly show off the people squad, who are dropping in 3 trades this week, which is pretty exciting. And I got a little bit of response back, and they're all pretty different. So I did decide to go a little bit rogue with what I thought might be best as a little bit of an alternate type picks. And given we're 8,600 overall, we've got a fair few trades in the bank. I think that we can make a few to go and play a little bit exciting and get a little bit of value out of guys potentially, as well as some upside. So trades this week for the people squad. Unfortunately, just don't have enough cash to hold on to Purdue, and Stafford Toa would have been the sell or Brimson. And let me know what you guys reckon with this, if you would keep Brimson or you would keep Stafford Toa. And Stafford can be looped this week, kind of playing, I think, 19 now that, following these trades, Stafford out, 18, sorry. So it'll only be one that misses out this week. And I think we can wait until tonight anyway, with Katonga being looped, see how he goes. And if it's pretty good, then I think we just probably stick with the Brimson one. If he plays no good, then maybe we do change that up. But Purdue comes out, Mamzellis comes out, and Brimson, and we bring in Jacob Kiraz. So we are chasing a bit of upside there. Yes, it's against Canberra, but he looks incredible, and why not? Under 700k. We've already got Garrick in there. We got Lucas last week, so that's good news there. Leo Thompson comes in. So I was looking at him, looking at Tapane, and a few other guys in that midsection. But with Leo, he is that little bit cheaper, helped us get Kiraz. So that's where I went for that one there. And then Jastavanga comes in. He is going, instead of Riley Smith, who was the other option, just had to drop down a little bit more in price to get to Jazz there at 366 compared to 390 with Riley. And he has some upside as well. So in that nine position in our teams at hooker, but in 13 in real life, that's always great news. And I think that he's a fairly safe play this week at 13. Over the next few weeks, there could be a different answer to that, if he's going to be a good play or not. But I do think this week we can get away with it, and that can be pretty solid. Now, Kiraz is the upside play. Tavanga at the cheaper price is more of upside as well. And then Leo Thompson, maybe a little bit of value, 40, 50, 60k, if he continues doing what he's been doing so far. So now looking at the side and where it's at, so 20 trades now remain. We're at 13.45 million in terms of squad value, which isn't too far off the top dogs either. I think my team, in a slightly better position there in the 2000s is like 13.5, 13.6. May as well check that while we're here. 13.51. So very, very similar to what we're out here with the people squad. And now for the team. At the moment, as I said, looping Katonga. If he goes no good, we'll just play King Tagia now that we've brought him into the side. And they do play the Warriors, so he might just go okay this week. At 260k though, you're not expecting the world. You're expecting him to be a really solid cash out. We got him last week for that reason. We get to hold Nafahu White Savala, which will be good for round 12. We're adding to our center and our wing fullback now with Kiraz, Garrick, Tamale, Fletcher Sharp. We then have Katonga would be our other center there. So covered across that region, we've got Fogarty and Savala in the halves, in the edge position right now, and we could move Lucas down if we wanted to, but we do have Lucas and I was going to say Nafahu White, but he's going to be definitely in our mid. So we do need to get ourselves another edge. The other thing maybe to think about is Horsburgh. Sounds like he's fine. If he doesn't play though, might be a good idea to hold Brimson. But we just have the one edge right now. So Lucas probably stays up there at this stage, and we do have other guys we can look to buy over the next few weeks. In our midsection now, if we leave Clark at hooker, we have Tavanga and we have Leo Thompson along with Nafahu White. So really, it's just one more mid or edge. that sets us up for round 12. So it's pretty solid. We could improve our second center with Katonga going out. We could also improve another, just get another gun middle edge. I think could work pretty well. And when you have guys like Yo or Cleary that you could sell, I think we can get to a pretty good round 12 side in the people squad. So let me know if that helps you guys out with with selecting your teams and what you're looking for heading into round 12. Now my side, I have 3 Eels who play tonight. So just be aware of that always, guys. Who plays first game? The Thursday night single game always just allows it to be a bit easier to then do some looping and make some decisions on different things you want to do. Especially when you get the update overnight or in the morning, a couple of hours later. Still get people asking this question, how do you see updates so quickly? About 2 hours after every game on the NRL app, not the fantasy app. You'll see the updates, and then the next morning, an hour later, or whatever it is, the updates will come through on the actual fantasy app. And same thing across the weekend. Sometimes there's score changes on the app, on the NRL app, normal NRL app, and they don't show until a couple of days later when they do their final update on the fantasy app. So just be aware of that. Now, my side, I'm in a similar situation to the people's team where it is Mamazelis that will have to come out at some point. We have Stafford Toa and it is Brimson. And with those 3 guys, I can make some moves. And what I am going to do is wait until the looping situation is done. What I am locking in though is definitely getting Dylan Lucas. And then the others, I have a few options, which I'll discuss in a sec. But the looping side of things, now if I just look straight up on these 3, Smith, Yongi, and Katonga, I think Riley Smith this week has the biggest chance of scoring well. Like we saw last week, it was a fairly easy watch to have him, whereas it's a tough watch for Yongi or for Katonga. Now, how this sets up. With Katonga, I could leave Stafford Toa in centre, but I'm probably going to try and trade him out. I could also put Wong into edge. Now, the only problem with that would be if Katonga went really well and I wanted to put him, loop him in the edge position, then I would have a bit of an issue. If I put Wong in, Nicholson comes onto the side here, and then I would have to leave one of those 2 out, Nicholson or Egan, which I don't really love. But we also haven't seen him score well in a few weeks now. It's 18 into a 35, and if he gets anything near in the mid 30s, I just won't take it this week, and I'll make the trades and just roll with it. Now, that's the only kind of issue with having him in 7 there. But Riley Smith, he's a very easy take. I don't need to keep Mamazelis, and given he's at 580k, he's the one that I could leave as a loop spot for Riley Smith and have Aaron Clark in the mids. But on the other hand, I would want, I could easily just loop him in the 5 slot. Savala's in 2 right now. I could just leave him in there. If I sold Toa, then it's just Savala that is the one that doesn't play in the team, and Riley Smith would come in. Now, if I want Riley Smith and Yongi, that's also pretty comfortable. I would move Wong up into that interchange as well, and then I would be able to use those 2 guys that are out for Riley Smith and Yongi. If you only want Yongi in this setup, I can't actually do it. So I think they all deserve a looping. I don't know if all of them I'm super excited about, but I do only have to make to use one of the 3 if I end up making the trades I do. So Savala and Wong are likely to stay in the side post looping, and Stafford Toa would leave along with Mamazelis. So therefore 19 available players, I would be able to leave 2 of them out if I wanted to. So let's just hope how it works out. Well, look, if Riley and Yongi absolutely crushed it and got 50 plus each, that would be the easiest scenario. If it was Riley and Katonga, I could make it work and leave Yongi out. If it's just Yongi, that's when I have the main issue, to be fair, because if Riley gets like a 20 and Yongi gets 60, I'd have to combine the both of them, unless I traded in a wing fullback this week that wasn't playing, which is definitely not my goal, unless, I suppose we could get Teddy, which it wouldn't be the worst play there at all. So we have a heap of different options with the setup in trades this week and in looping, and that's the only frustrating thing around having these guys play early is that, look, it does give you some flexibility, but having 3 in the one team when they played early 2 weeks in a row does make it a little bit harder. And it cooked me a bit last week taking Katonga's score. Anything in the 30s this week from him, Yongi, Smith, I'll try not to take, apart from needing one of them. So let's just hope Riley comes out and kills it, and happy days from there. Now, trade options. Dylan Lucas, he's one of them. Likely to come in. My second trade, I'm very likely to do King Tagia to come in. And then the third one, I would have some cash available. So I would be able to go all the way up to about the 780 mark. So I could get Campbell. I could get Tarpanay. I'm probably not looking at Farnworth at centre, given I'm picking up Lucas there. There are a couple other guys that I have some interest in. And, McInnes is one of them at the cheaper mid-price. Leo Thompson's another one. We have Drinkwater at wing fullback, but do I want or prefer Teddy come round 12 maybe, instead of having like a Katonga or something like that? They're all options that we could muck around with for those weeks to come. Kale Lero is definitely an option. Karaz is definitely an option. So for me, really, it's going to be a mid and setting myself up, one closer to my round 12 mids, or I get a center / wing fullback, and that's where Karaz comes in. Guys like Bradman Best, I'm really interested in, to be honest, and I think maybe I'm going to go away from it in fantasy, and the trades I've cooked up right now for Supercoach, I think I'm going to bring Bradman Best in. Now, Garrick at 646 is a good option. Dane Gagai, I've mucked around with looking at also getting Kalen Ponga for a couple of weeks, so I do think we'll make Origin, so it's probably a little bit gross to buy him now, even though I think that he'll score pretty well. But yeah, Leo Thompson we spoke about as a fun one. Best is 618. Dang, guy's in at like 530 or something, which is pretty wild. The only one I did forget to mention, guys, was Matt Burton during the week as well. He's a good one to have a look at, definitely. But I will make this decision on trades tomorrow. I've already told the private group who I'm looking at exactly, and I think I've made my decision. But we will wait on the looping and hopefully give a bit of an update tomorrow as to where I'm sitting. But that's the benefit as well of being in the private crew is getting all this knowledge, captaincy thoughts, all that kind of stuff before the round, or even on Tuesday or Wednesday when I first look at potentially making trades. There's a little benefit there as well. And guys, I've got 5-6 people now that have showed interest in the 4-week challenge that I did mention in the other video. So as I said, I'm a PT and looking to do a 4-week challenge myself, and would love to have people in with me that I can help out who are looking to improve their health and fitness over the next month as well. I've got one person that just mentioned that he's heading off to Europe in a month exactly, so he would love to do that 4 weeks and get himself in good nick before he does go to that, which would be awesome. And it's $50 for 4 weeks. Give the accountability. I'll help you with setting up a plan, your habits, with your exercise, with your eating and everything like that as well. So if you're interested in that, information's in the description, along with the private group and also the public free fantasy group. Now that we've shut down the Discord, jump in there and have a look at that. So yeah, plenty to look at in my side. If I do make some trades there, Lucas would come in for Stafford Toa, and Tamale would come down for Brimson. I think would be how that one looks, and just see how we go on the old looping side at the moment. If Brimson's going, we do need to have a little bit of a look at how that one looks. Actually, I haven't made my trades yet if I wasn't doing the extra center or whatever else. So interesting now that I'm sort of plugging that through in my head, because I didn't want to change it, the team, once I'd set it up here for the video. So we do have a bit to look at from my side when we are looking at our trades this week. So yeah, I'll have to do a bit of thinking on that one actually, as to if a mid actually works, because I was looking at Leo and Tarpanay and these guys. So if Stafford actually goes, would I have to keep Brimson? Big thoughts. Yeah, maybe. So we'll have a look at all that and see how we go. Now, Supercoach, I had plugged in Herbie. I was looking at Herbie Farnworth, but Kale Iro, because I was just short of Herbie, and Fletcher Sharp were going to come in this week, which is pretty interesting. And I also brought in Lucas for Preston. So right now I have made changes, and we'll see which one works out best. But Herbie is going to come into the side now. Looks like it's not working, so I can just tell you anyway. Herbie's coming to the side, and Bradman Best. So Herbie and Best, or Fletcher Sharp and Kale Iro. Now, I thought that this was a better matchup for Herbie tonight, he should be good across the bye period. He seems to have a little bit more upside in terms of, the 120s and stuff like that than what someone like Iro does. And I'm near 10,000. I thought that's probably the better play. Even though, Cal Iro has a little more, is a bit more of a pod. He's only owned by a couple of percent. He does come up against Manly this week and then comes up against Storm for the next two. So when you look at Dolphins, it's a little bit nicer for their schedule. So I was like, well, I'm pretty keen on Best. I've been talking him up all week, and I should probably, plug him in. And he's got 3 tons this year, and we know he has big upside if the Knights can do well. And I think against the Titans, there's definite a chance of upside there. So Best comes in, and over the next few weeks, King Tagia looks like an option in 5/8. There's a bit of a cash down, and what I'll be looking to do, I think, come round 12, if Ponga's in Origin and Teddy's not, I think I'll wait the 1 week with Teddy next week, given they play the Dogs, and then he's going to be expensive anyway, so probably just try and climb in. If I've dropped down some cash, have a bit in the bank, hopefully go Ponga to Teddy for round 12, and I think that will be kind of the big upgrade that I need. At the moment, not playing Tamale and playing Nicholson, given they're playing the Dogs, and he's up against Karaz, which will be, a fun little clash. And leaving out Horsburgh at the moment. So the team's still really strong. Starling's playing up in hooker is my weak point. And sitting there at the moment with VC Ponga into Captain Cleary. So, that's the interesting one for me so far. And, we'll have to see how it all plays out, to be honest with you. It's a team that I'd say is pretty good. I'm just missing out on captaincies and all the rest to sit just inside the top 10K. That's the worrying sign, is that sometimes missing some AEs on the bench there, like Toya last week, but holding on to Gutho has been the tough one. But now it does look like a pretty strong side. Ponga being bad, Gutho being bad, and then captaincies has been the main issue for my side. And I think we can start going pretty good. I held trades last week, using my final boost this week to leave me with 26. Which I think is in a pretty solid position overall. And we'll leave it there for my trade thoughts for the week. I'll have to sort out that little mess I was just working out with Stafford Toa. If I was to lose Stafford Toa and Brimson, then maybe I do have to add a couple of those, a couple of centers or wing fullbacks there. So we'll see how that one plays out. Maybe Karaz or Garrick do enter the side. We'll see, guys. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next video, which will be tomorrow.